The next shape that I'm going to talk about is dandasana, or staff pose. So this pose is a foundational pose for quite a few other shapes. It derives out of sukhasana in that you're in a seated position. You want to have those dual qualities of steadiness, strength, sthira, at the same time a feeling of openness or ease. So it's usually going to be better, easier for you if you find a something to sit on. I'm sitting on a block, okay? And I'm going to sit sideways to you so you can see this a little bit better. So in this shape, it's called, it means staff pose or stick pose. So it's because we're extending our legs, I guess, a little bit like a stick. I like to start out with knees bent. And the reason is this. Most of us have tight hamstrings, tight hips. And what we want to do in all poses is find, or at least of axial lengthening, is to find this length in the spine, find our own neutral curves in our back, our lumbar, and our cervical. And if people take their legs straight out, oftentimes if your hamstrings are tight, they're going to be pulling your pelvic girdle into a backward pelvic tilt, which we don't want. So for most of us, we're going to come up on a block. We're going to bring our legs a little bit wider, and we might even bend our knees. So for me, this is staff pose right now. My spine can move into its natural curves. And also you have that axial lengthening. If you pull your toes back like I'm doing, you're going to get a stretch in the back of your legs as well, which you'll find in this shape. And you're getting strengthening in the core. So the release valves in this shape would be the low back, and that can come from a little bit of lack of core strength or tight hips, tight hamstrings. And the way to ameliorate that is to come up on something, bend the knees, or take the feet wide. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my feet in a little bit. The pose that can derive most immediately out of this is Paschimottanasana, which is forward fold. Okay, so I'm doing now a little bit more of a forward pelvic tilt. You can see my pelvic girdle is starting to tip forward. Okay, if I were to take my legs out and bend my knees as I did in stick pose, staff pose, I could more easily come forward. And that way I would gain the benefit of stretching my hips and stretching my upper back a little bit, okay? And I'm also still getting a stretch in my legs, especially if I pull my toes back in dorsiflexion, okay? It might be that just one leg will need to bend and the other one stays straight, depending on what your body is. So staff pose and forward fold, seated forward fold, they really work well together. Also from this shape, I'm going to go ahead and come off my block now. I want to just show you a couple more seated poses. So this, with my left leg extended and my right leg bent and my right heel right in front of my right hip, is like a version of staff pose, but it's getting me prepared to do some of our twists that are our fundamental poses. So I'm going to show you a version of what I call Marichyasana 1 or Sage Twist 1. I'm going to take my elbow very gently on the inside of this knee and begin to twist, okay? There's many other versions of this Marichyasana, and people call it different things, but for our purposes for the school, this is Sage Twist 1, Marichyasana 1. We also have, as one of our fundamental asanas, Sage Twist, Marichyasana 3. And basically, it's exactly like that, only you're twisting towards your bent knee. Okay, the key points on this are, remember, when you twist, you need to use your rib cage to do most of the twisting, because from your tailbone to your ribs, your body wasn't designed to twist like that. And also, keep your heel in front of your hip on Sage Twist 1. And also, if you're going to take it on into a forward fold. You can see how these shapes all really work together, okay? So part of the reason for that is so that you can get your chest through and towards your left leg. But the other reason is you want to keep this in a neutral position. If you have your foot next to your leg and you're leaning forward, you're going into a different shape. And finally, the other reason is this works really well to move into some arm balances. So dandasana is also a really important pose to help you with your arm balances. I'm not going to do it right now. I'll just kind of show you the steps to it. But this is Asavakrasana. You can warm up your right hip a little bit, bring your right knee in close to your shoulder, lean your weight forward, and begin into that shape. Okay, like I said, I'm only demonstrating that to show you that that's kind of where you can go with this shape. But we'll talk about arm balances later. All right, thanks.